Hi and welcome to our crafting session this morning. Good morning if you're joining us in UK time and you're live. It is Monday the 18th of September 2023. Good morning to you. My name's Jenny McCormack. If this is the first time you've come across me, I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire here in the UK. Thank you for joining me. We are doing some simple Christmas cards today using this fun stamp set called Jolly Words. Unusually, this stamp set has just 3 stamps in it, and they are here. We have "'Tis the Season" with a little bauble as the O. We've got "Joy" with 2 cheeky little elves with a wreath, and then we have "Ho Ho Ho" with Father Christmas or Santa on his sleigh. These make for great easy cards, and this is our stamp set of the week that we're using at Coffee and Card. We did them on Friday, and we have them again this afternoon in Toaster and tomorrow morning in Brackley. So, nice simple cards. There's various ideas, and don't forget that in the catalogue, this is our mini catalogue that runs till the end of December. There's lots of ideas of projects in here. So not only obviously does it show you the products, but lots of different ideas that you can use. So you can always keep these after the catalogue is finished to give you layouts. Obviously the papers and things like that and some of the stamps won't necessarily be available. I do recommend you put a line or something across the front of the catalogue so that you know it's no longer current, because there's nothing more frustrating than trying to order something which is no longer available. So let's see, these are the first 2 card designs that I've done. So this is the Ho Ho Ho, and this is just on a plain piece of white card. But what I have done is I have used the trio punch that punches across the corner, and then this fancy corner, and then a ribbon slot. And I've used that on the 2 opposite sides just to make that a little bit more interesting, and that's on one of our note cards and envelopes. And then this one here, the little joy card, I popped onto a square Poppy Parade colour card. You can get 3 of these out of an A4 sheet, and what I would do, and I will do today, is pop a little insert in there depending on the colour of card that you've used. And then I've cut some circles, so I've got a scallop circle and a standard circle from our circle dies, just to give a little bit of interest on the front. And then I've got some strips of card for a Christmas sentiment. Good morning, Fran, I hope you're well. So let's see, we've got some circles ready cut, so these are all ready for this afternoon. So I thought I'd swap these colours around and use a white circle again, but with either a red or a dark green backing. So this is Granny Apple Green, this is Real Red, and then I've also got Garden Green scallop circles. Let's see if that, they both work, don't they? So I'll decide once I've done my stamping and colouring in. It's very simple colouring for this particular image. You don't have to do a great deal with it. I've done red and green and just reversed the little hats and the little outfits, and obviously green for the wreath. You could, hi Carol, you could also stamp this and heat emboss this. This would work particularly well with this one, but also the sentiment. The sentiment says "'Tis the season," so that would work particularly well as well. So let's crack on and get some crafting done. I hope everybody had a nice weekend. I did manage to mow my lawn, for those that saw my quandary on Sunday, and I'm glad I did, because it rained and rained and rained all through the night. Okay, so we're going to put the Joy set on here. There we go. And I think what I'm going to do is pop this on our Stamparatus. Now, sadly, we don't sell this anymore, but I know a lot of my customers have the Stamparatus. And what I'm going to do is position this circle in between those pieces of tape. Just going to pop this on the right hand side and then position my stamp on top. And this is quite a solid set of letters, the Joy, well, the J and the Y in particular. So I do like to use a stamp positioning tool where you've got a lot of ink that needs to be added. I think that will do the job. Morning Valerie, morning Catherine and Glenda. Good morning, evening to you. So nice and straightforward. I am using Early Espresso ink today, and I'm sorry about the reflection. I have got the lights on. It was very sunny minutes ago and I had to pull the blinds. Let's just move those slightly out of the way. So I'm going to ink this up with espresso. Hi Zana and Scylla. Good morning everybody. So we had great fun with these on Friday. And morning to you Sylvia, haven't seen you for a while, I hope you're well. Okay, and as I thought, I do need to ink it up a second time. Only because that image is very solid, and what I didn't do was actually clean my stamp to start with, so there may have been some dried residue of ink. There's still a little bit on there. Let me just wipe that down. So I hope everybody had a nice weekend. According to my forecast here, we've got rain basically all week. So, but rain is always good for me because it means I can concentrate on work and not thinking about the garden and things like that. Okay, so I'm just going to re-ink this again just to make sure I've got a good coating, especially with that J actually. The Y is okay. No, it's still not come out. Let me just use the heel of my hand, excuse me. Just give it a little bit more pressure. That's better. That's all it needed really. It's just a bit more pressure rather than anything else. Okay, so there's our Joy. Let me wipe that down. There we go. So if I was doing multiples of these, then I would set this up, stamp a whole series of these one after the other, and then do the colouring separately. Okay, so while that's drying, let's just stamp this one. So I've just borrowed Merry Christmas Wishes because I've got a small amount of space here to play with, or Happy Christmas Wishes I should say. And let's grab a block. And I know that this particular stamp is cut quite high, so when I'm stamping it on here I'm going to keep the stamp a little bit further down perhaps than I would do normally. And you could use a colour for that, I'm just going to use espresso as it's to hand. There we go. I have to take my glasses off now. I'm not sure which one of these I'm going to use. I think I need to redo my mat here. So I'm going to just bring this right down to the bottom. There we go. Okay, so that's going to go on the bottom. So I've got Granny Apple Green. I'm going to do my colouring on there, and then I'm going to add a different colour behind, either real red or garden green. I'll just see once I've done my colouring elements. Okay, so the nice thing about this is there's not a huge amount of colouring. It is quite small, but I'm going to use light petal pink as my go-to, as you all know, for the face. And I'm just looking for my other pink for some rosy cheeks. Which are right in front of me. Morning, Annabelle. So I've got light bubble bath. So I'm going to put my rosy cheeks on first. Now I've used reds and greens, but obviously you could use any colours for your mischievous little elves. So I put my little pink on there, and then just going over with light petal pink. Blending that in so you can see that, hopefully. And then I've got reds and greens, so let's do the same. I've got dark poppy parade and light poppy parade. So I think I'm going to do red on one side, green on the other, just for something slightly different. And to be honest, this is such a small area that you could get away with not having to do any blend colouring, because it's a small area really. I'm just going to use the dark here and then the light. So I've got a little bit of colour. Like so. Just tiny little sleeve. And then I forgot the arms. So where you've got a small area, just literally a light touch. Go. And then let's use whatever I've got to hand. What's this one? Granny Apple Green. So there's that. So this can colour in really quickly. But if you're doing it, you do need good light really to be able to see the edges. And then you can literally just go straight across with this. It's got some details for the leaves, but you can either make something of those, or you can just go over it in one colour. Go. Let's see if I've got a light. Oh, dark granny apples. use those. Thank you, Craig. It's my UPS delivery. This is actually parakeet party, so it's a bit of a light contrast, but do the job. And let's just add a little bit of that in. Okay, and then we've got the baubles and the bells left to do. So I'm going to use, this is Mango Melody, but you could use any yellow, you could use a gold. If you have a gold pen, that would be quite cute. Let's do one gold and then a couple red. So definitely not a complex one, but as I say, you do need good lighting so you can see where you're colouring in. There we go. Okay, so all we need to do now is grab a layer behind. So I'm thinking probably that to offset it. And I've chosen quite a big sentiment, so I'm going to pop that across the bottom. If you had a smaller one, it could go at an angle. But I've got that. And then with the background, you could stamp something, you could emboss it if you wished. I'm going to add a little piece for my inside. I'm going to take that from the Joy to You, so I'm going to do Wishing You a Very Merry Christmas. Just add that on the inside. And I'll just use espresso again, but typically I would use probably real red for that, just to make it a little bit more interesting inside. And if you had a little stamp of holly or something, you could certainly add that in. Just making sure that is well inked. That's inside. There we go. Wishing you a very Merry Christmas. So let's pop that in. So grab some glue. So nice and straightforward. Morning, Michelle. I hope you're keeping well. Okay, so that one's going to go onto there, and I've just made that slightly smaller than my card base. So my card base here measures 9.9 by 9.9 centimeters. This is 9.2. And then I'm going to layer these up. So I'm going to pop this one flat onto here, and then I'm going to lift this one up with dimensionals, our foam pads, just for a bit of interest. You could also add ribbon and things like that if you wished. Let's pop that on there. Like that. Whoops, that moved. Like so. Oh, okay. Anybody else's screen going jerky? If it is, please let me know. I'm just going to trim that at an angle, I think. Mine looks alright on my mobile, but it is a little bit jerky on the bottom. So I just cut that at an angle, just for a little bit of interest. Like that. And I'm just wondering if I've got something. It is oh, bless. Okay, sorry about that. It might be the weather with all that rain. I've just seen what I've got that I could put in the background. holly really, is what I'm looking for, or something similar. I've got some mistletoe. Just pop some mistletoe in. This is from the set we used the other week, So Very Merry, the one that we did the stained glass windows. It's got this little bit of mistletoe, so I'm just going to put that just maybe in the top two corners, because that's going to cover that, isn't it? Okay. Thank you everybody for that feedback. Fingers crossed we hang on, but you can see the majority of the cards done, so if we do stop abruptly, then I won't recommence. Okay, so I'm just going to put this one here, like that. And that one in the corner, just really for a little bit more interest. There we go, and that across the bottom. So I'm going to put that up on dimensionals, and we're done. So a nice easy set that you could make multiples of fairly quickly. Just do a whole series of stamping and then set 2 with some colouring. There we go. I'm going to put that fairly high, so I'm just going to let that sit like that. Now I did wonder for a while if the joy is straight, the little elves are at a bit of an angle, but if you look at the stamp set, that's how it is. The joy is straight. If you put the elves straight, the joy is at a bit of an angle. So if in doubt, check the outside of the card design, stamp design even. There we go. So just taking the backings off those. I meant to check that I got that the right way round, but I didn't, so that was a bit of luck, wasn't it? Okay, again, just let it drop down, don't press it down, and then if you need to reposition it, you've got time to do that. And there we are. Okay, so a nice simple card. Stamping, a little bit of colouring, but not too much. So if you're not keen on colouring and blending, you could use watercolour pencils. You could use Stampin' Up markers. Because it's a small area, you don't need to really worry about the detail. You're not going to get a lot of brush marks, for example, with the Stampin' Up markers. So if that's what you got, then this is perfect for that. So thank you so much. I hope you like that. There's our little joy card. So this is what we're doing at Coffee and Card this afternoon. Here's another design. There we go. And watch out for some more designs during the week. I will be back on Thursday evening for a more detailed card with a little bit more going on. And I will also be talking about my paper shares. Now, some of the papers in the mini catalogue are currently out of stock. As always, when there's a popular set of papers or products, they can go out quite quickly. Now, I do understand that they're all due back in again. So all of the paper shares that have been ordered so far, I have the correct set of papers for. What I may do is just review that, because we have some new papers that have come on board, and so I might chop and change the paper share to incorporate the new ones and miss out the ones that have gone out of stock. So watch this space for that detail. Thank you so much for joining me. Our class in a box, which I'm having great fun with. Thank you to everybody who's booked that so far. Our class in person is next Tuesday the 26th. So if you'd like to join us for that, then do make sure you sign up by the end of today or tomorrow to make sure I can get all the kits prepared. Thanks Brenda, that's why Brenda is very good and does a lot of my die cutting for me, so I always appreciate that. She's the one that sits there die cutting all the bits and pieces for your class, so big thank you to Brenda. Hi Moretta, all rounding up now I'm afraid, sorry, but this is our coffee and card design for this afternoon and also tomorrow morning. So if anybody is local and wishes to join us, you'd be most welcome. It would be great to see you. Thank you so much everyone. Do take care and I look forward to crafting with you again really soon. Bye for now.